Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021. Last podcast before Christmas. College basketball, NBA, college bowls, NFL. We'll recap and look ahead. News and notes, nice or naughty, NBA. We'll do something different on the show today. iHeartradio Z100 every year does a top 100 songs of the year. I'm going to predict the top 10. And we'll see how I do, if I get 10 for 10 or if I nail the exact number and such. And then obviously best bet and Fab 5 as well. All right, we'll start with college basketball. We will go over the games from last night, look ahead to today and the weekend. I apologize, guys, I did not do lines for today. So I apologize about that. Hartford over Sacred Heart, 78-71. UNC Wilmington over Campbell, 65-58. Davidson over Johnson of Wales, 106-64. Valpo over William & Mary, 88-66. Towson over Navy, 69-52. Notre Dame over A&M Corpus Christi, 83-73. Number 16, Texas over Alabama State, 68-48. Number 25, Texas Tech over Eastern Washington, 78-46. Stetson over Piedmont, 97-53. Vermont over Colgate, 78-68. Florida over Stony Brook, 87-62. Temple over Delaware State, 85-48. South Carolina over Army, 105-75. Liberty over Northern Iowa, 76-74. UC Santa Barbara over Idaho State, 56-43. Richmond over Bucknell, 81-50. Denver over St. Thomas, Minnesota, 75-74. Bethesda over Cal State Northridge, 82-80. Louisiana Tech over Crowley's Ridge, 99-56. Seattle over Northwest Washington, 168. Charlotte over Western Carolina, 98-82. Minnesota over Green Bay, 72-56. Portland over UC Davis, 65-60. San Francisco over Southern Illinois, 64-52. Stanford over Wyoming, 66-63. Number 12 Auburn over Murray State, 71-58. Number 20 Kentucky over Western Kentucky, 95-60. Drake over Chicago State, 87-50. Troy over Mercer, 69-65. West Virginia over Youngstown State, 82-52. Cal over Pacific, 73-53. Providence over Georgetown, a forfeit. Number 19 Tennessee over number 6 Arizona, 77-73. Canisius over Florida Gulf Coast, 97-90 in overtime. Sam Houston over NC Central, 68-51. Lafayette over Gwinnett Mercy, 87-66. Chattanooga over Middle Tennessee, 77-65. Robert Morris over St. Fran, Pennsylvania, 75-67. Charleston over Old Dominion, 82-80. Indiana over Northern Kentucky, 79-61. Wichita State over Prairie View, 102-66. UCF over North Alabama, 75-64. East Tennessee State over Georgia, 86-84. Clemson over Virginia, 67-50. Marist over Bethune-Cookman, 68-45. Hofstra over Monmouth, 77-71. UAB over Miss Valley State, 158. Nebraska over Kennesaw State, 88-74. Number 13, Houston over Texas State, 80-47. Number 17, LSU over Lipscomb, 95-60. Texas Arlington over Howard Payne, 95-46. Boise over Washington State, 58-52. Oklahoma over Alcorn State, 72-48. Abilene Christian over Longwood, 74-58. North Dakota State over North Dakota, 86-76. South Dakota State over Oral Roberts, 82-76. Omaha over Western Illinois, 84-78. UMKC over South Dakota, 68-57. Number 2, Duke over Virginia Tech, 76-65. Montana State over Sagu AIC, 124-73. San Diego State over UC San Diego, 78-57. Illinois over Missouri, 88-63. Southern Utah over Dixie State, 87-59. Bradley over UTEP, 73-66. BYU over South Florida, 54-39. UNLV over San Diego, 80-57. St. Mary's over Missouri State, 75-58. Vandy over Hawaii, 68-54. And the rest of the games have been postponed or canceled. That were supposed to be played yesterday. Eastern Kentucky, Bryant, St. Bonaventure, Northeastern both canceled. Maryland, Eastern, George Washington postponed. NJIT, UMass, Idaho, UC, Riverside, Wofford, Duquesne, St. Peter's, Fairleigh Dickinson, VMI, Hampton, Georgia Southern, Fordham, Quinnipiac, Penn State, Holy Cross, St. Joe's, all canceled. BC, Wake, postponed. UMBC, Mount St. Mary's, canceled. Brown, Rhode Island, canceled. Our Lady, UTSA, postponed. Indiana State, Northern Illinois, and Cal Poly, number 5, UCLA, canceled. Now we look ahead to today. There's only a handful of games. Number 15, Seton Hall gets a win over DePaul due to forfeit. St. Francis, Brooklyn, UMass Lowell, canceled. St. Xavier, Milwaukee, 2 o'clock. We can skip. Wagner, Fairfield. Fairfield's favorite by 2.5. According to FanDuel, I would lay it. Howard, Yale, canceled. 4 o'clock. ESPN 2. Liberty, Stanford, Diamond Head. Stanford's a 2.5 point favorite. I would take Liberty to win outright. Westmont Pepperdine, we can skip 6 o'clock. Fresno, Weber State. Weber's a 1-point favorite. I would lay it. ESPNU 6:30, Northern Iowa, Wyoming. Wyoming's a 1-point favorite. I would lay it with Wyoming. Fox Sports 1, Butler, St. John's. This game's at the Lou. That's a tough line. I would probably go to the total in that game. I'm going to see what that is for a second here. I didn't realize how small the college slate was going to be, or else I probably would have done picks. 135.5. I'll take the over. 7 o'clock, Big Ten Network, George Mason at number 24, Wisconsin. I'll probably lay the points of Wisconsin. Georgia Tech hosting Bama A&M, that's postponed. Central Cod Rutgers postponed. 10 o'clock, ESPN2, BYU Vandy. BYU is a 4.5-point favorite. I lay it. And then 12:30 a.m. ESPN2, South Florida, Hawaii. Hawaii's a 3.5-point favorite. I'd probably lay it too because they're home. No games on Christmas Eve, and on Christmas Day there are 4 games on the Diamond Head Classic. 1:30 on ESPNU, 4 o'clock ESPNU, 6 o'clock ESPN2, 9 o'clock ESPN2. We don't know who is going to be playing who yet. But I would say the championship for this would probably be the winner of Liberty Stanford against the winner of Vandy and BYU. So I think it's probably going to be BYU against Liberty in the championship for the Diamond Head Classic, which would be pretty cool. All right, NBA time. We will look back on the results from last night, and we will look ahead to today and the weekend and the Christmas games. I didn't do lines for the Christmas games because they're still pending because COVID protocols and whatnot. So that's the reason why I didn't do it. But I did lines for the NBA games for today. All right, so Magic over the Hawks, 104.98. Celtics over the Cavs, 111.101. Bucks over the Rockets, 126.106. Thunder over the Nuggets, 108.94. And the Clippers over the Kings, 105.89. Raptors, Bulls postponed. So best bet was a refund. Now we look ahead to tonight. Big window. 7 o'clock, Rockets, Pacers. I project Indy by 14. And it's 8.5 into 20.5. I'll lay it. Pelicans, Magic. My projection is Pelicans by 1 3/4. And it is 5 and 2, 8.5. I'll take the 5 with Orlando. Hawks, 76ers. My projection is Philly by 10. It's 9.5 into 14.5. I'll take the over. Actually, no, I'll go under in that game. Never mind. Pistons Heat at 7:30. My projection is Miami 21.5, and it is 10.5 and 204.5. I'll lay it. Wiz Knicks from MSG. My projection is Knicks by 1/4. And it's Washington 1 total 210.5. I'll take the under. 8 o'clock, Bulls Mavericks. 8:30. My bad. My projection is Bucks 5.5 with all the injuries and such, and it's 5 and 215.5. I'll take the under. Hornets Nuggets. My projection is Denver by 3 1/4. That's a 9 o'clock game, and it is 2.5 and 228.5. I'll take the under. That's very high. Thunder Suns. My projection is Suns by 24.5, and it's 14.5 and 215. I'll take the points, or lay the points, I should say. Wolves Jazz. My projection is Utah by 20. And it's 11 and 225.5. I'll lay it with the Jazz. 10 o'clock, Grizzlies Warriors. My projection is Warriors by 4 3/4. And it is 6 and 217.5. I'll take the over in that one. And then the Spurs and the Lakers at 10:30. My projection is Lakers by 7.25. And it's 1.5 and 224. I'll lay the 1.5 with the Lakers at home against the Spurs. All right, Christmas Day, 12 o'clock ESPN, Hawks Knicks. Without knowing results, my early projection here, what would be like the very early projection here? Knicks by 1, but that could be without Trae Young. That could go to 7. So, with the idea of Trae Young potentially not playing, I'll pick the Knicks at home on Christmas. 2:30 ABC, Celtics Bucks. Let's hope Giannis is back. If Giannis is back, I think the Bucks will win. If not, it'll be Boston's game. 5 o'clock ABC, Warriors Suns. What a game! What a game! That is the best game on Christmas. Not Nets Lakers. Come on. I think Phoenix has the better roster than Golden State. And I think that they're going to get up for this one. So I like the Suns. And then the Nets and the Lakers, 8 o'clock ABC. So this is LeBron against Durant. Let's hope everyone's back for Brooklyn for this. They better not postpone this game. Because Nets-Blazers was supposed to be tonight. That's postponed. I think they're postponing all the Nets games so they can be right for this game. And they better be right for this game. And if the Nets are back, if they have 2 of the big 3, they'll win. If not, LeBron and company will get it done. But no AD is a big loss for LA. That's why I say if Brooklyn is 2 of the big 3, Brooklyn will win. And 10:30 ESPN, the Mavs and the Jazz. I think the Jazz win big here with no Doncic to do COVID protocols. And then the Sunday window, 3:30 Magic Heat, 6 o'clock Raptors Cavs, 76ers Wizards, Grizzlies Kings, 7 o'clock Pelicans Thunder, Pistons Spurs, 8 o'clock Pacers Bulls, and 9 o'clock the Nuggets and the Clippers. All right, now we'll go over the college bowl games, or game from yesterday, and we will look ahead to 4 bowl games that will be played between now and Christmas Day. Army over Missouri 24-22 on a game-ending field goal. Army ends their season at 9-4. Missouri 6-7. All right, 2 games today. 3:30 ESPN, North Texas and Miami of Ohio. I project I'll pick them and 54.6. Meanwhile, it is Miami of Ohio by 2.5. When the total 54.5. So for this, I'm going to take North Texas plus the 2.5. And the question is, will I pick them to win outright too? Yeah, why not? I'll go with them to win outright. Next up, on ESPN tonight, 7 o'clock, you have UCF in Florida. My projection is UCF is a 1-point favorite, total 54-15. Now it's Florida by 7, total 55.5. Oh my God, I love UCF. Plus the 7. I think they win outright too. Plus 225. Straight up. That is amazing. And Florida's not getting up for this game. Like, come on. Christmas Eve, you got the Hawaii Bowl between Memphis and Hawaii. By the way, 2 bowl games today are the Frisco Football Classic and the Gasparilla Bowl, respectively. So the Hawaii Bowl from Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex, the home of Hawaii football. My projected line, because Hawaii is technically home here, is Hawaii 3.5, total 58.8. Meanwhile, it's Memphis 8, total 56.5. I love Hawaii plus the 8 and plus 245 on the money line. Hawaii home, Like, Memphis isn't getting up for this. Are they? And then Christmas Day, you have the Crampton Bowl, which is the Camellia Bowl from the Crampton Bowl. Georgia State, Ball State. My projection is Georgia State by 3, total 52-4. Meanwhile, it's 6.5 and 50.5. I'm taking Ball State plus the 6.5. Will they win outright? I'm going to say no. So I'm going to go with Ball State in the points. And I also have a slight edge on the over. So there's bowl picks for the weekend. All right, now we will talk NFL. We will make our picks for tonight's game and Saturday's and Sunday's games. Alrighty, without further ado, here we go. Thursday Night Football tonight between the 49ers and the Titans. My projection is Tennessee by 1, total 47-15. While San Francisco by 3 and the total 44.5. So I have two nice edges here. But where I'm going to go is because I'm getting the full 3 points. I'm going to go with Tennessee plus the 3. And I like them to win outright to a plus 142. San Fran to me is just riding high. Everybody loves them. And they're playing great. I get it. But they're on the road in a night game. Ryan Tannehill, I think, is due to come through. So I'm going to go Titans plus the 3 and then on the money line too. And I also really, really like the over in this game too. Christmas Day on Fox at 4:30. Browns-Packers. My projection is the Packers by 13, total 44.95. Meanwhile, it is 7.5 and 45.5. I love Green Bay here, minus the points. Absolutely love it. And then the nightcap, 8:15 on the NFL Network, Colts-Cardinals. My projection is the Cardinals by 6.5, total 48.55. And it's 1.5 and 48.5. The Cardinals, everybody's doubting them now because of how poorly they've played, especially against the Lions. This is a contrarian play. I feel like a lot of people are going to go with the Colts. I'm going to lay the points here with the Cardinals at home. All right, Sunday, you have got the Lions against the Falcons on Fox. My projection is Atlanta by 13 1/4, total 44.65. Meanwhile, it's 6 and 42.5. I love the Falcons minus the points here. I just think the Lions are absolutely terrible. And I also like the over too. Ravens-Bengals on CBS. My projection is Bengals 3, total 47.2. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 45.5. This is a tough one for me to gauge. Slight edge on the over. Rams-Vikings on Fox. My projection is the Rams by 3.5, total 49.7. Meanwhile, it's 3 and 49.5. So, again, very close numbers. But I'm going to go slight lean here on the Rams. And I also have a slight lean on the over, too. Bills-Patriots on CBS. Great game. My projection is New England 5.5, total 43.95. Meanwhile, it's 2 and 43.5. I love New England. I think that this is a bounce-back spot for them. They're better than Buffalo. So give me New England minus the 2. The Jaguars and the Jets from MetLife. The Jaguars are actually a 1-point favorite, total 41.5. Meanwhile, I project the Jets as a 3-point favorite. Total of 44.45. Again, I know the Jets are really bad. I get it. But so are the Jaguars. The Jaguars shouldn't be favored over anybody, especially on the road. That is absolutely ridiculous. So give me the Jets and the money line for probably like the third week in a row. Or their third home game in a row. That game's on CBS. Giants-Eagles on Fox. My projections, Eagles 12, total 44-3. Meanwhile, it's 9.5. No Daniel Jones, and 40.5. I'm actually going to go the over as my pick for this game. The edge is larger, and but it's, wait, is it larger? Yes, it is easily. And I also like the Eagles too. The Buccaneers and the Panthers on Fox. My projection is Tampa 11.5, total 46.5. Meanwhile, it's 10 and 44. Over bounce back spot for the Buccaneers offense. And I think this is a good spot for the Bucs to bounce back here. On CBS, the Chargers and the Texans. My projection is the Texans as an 11.5 point underdog, total 47-45. Meanwhile, it is 10 and 45.5. So for this one, I'm going to say slight over and then slight lean on the Chargers. 4:05 on Fox, Bears, Seahawks. My projection is Seattle by 6.5, total 41-1. Meanwhile, it is 6.5 and 43.5. I like the under here. I just don't think the Bears' offense is very good. And quite frankly, Seattle's offense hasn't been very good either. 4:25 on CBS, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo on the call. Steelers, Chiefs from Arrowhead. We don't know the status of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. But if they were to play this line, I project Chiefs 9.25, total 46-65. Meanwhile, if they were not to play, 7.25, total the same. And if one of the two were not to play, 8.25. And it's 7.5 and 44.5. I love the over. I think this is a good spot for the Chiefs offense. Hopefully with them, the two players back to get going. I think Pittsburgh can show up in this game a little bit offensively. Like they tend to show up for these types of games. So I really like the over in this game. And then slight lean to the Chiefs, but that could change with the COVID stuff. Broncos, Raiders, my projection is Las Vegas by 2.5, total 42.95. And let me check if Teddy Bridgewater is starting for Denver. Because that might... Oh, Drew Lock is going to start. Good thing I caught that. So I have to make a projection change on the fly on the podcast, which I normally don't do. So my initial projection was 2.5 for Las Vegas. Now it's 5.5 without Teddy Bridgewater. And it is Broncos by 1, total 41.5. Drew Lock as a favorite? No, thank you. The Raiders are a no-brainer, so give me the Raiders plus the 1 and minus 104 straight up. I mean, is Darren Waller still out? I mean, Darren Waller's not a quarterback. Yeah, he's out, so 4.5, but still, Vegas should be favored. I don't care that Darren Waller's out. I'm sorry, Drew Lock does not deserve to be a favorite against anyone, maybe other than the Jaguars and the Texans, and maybe the Jets at this point, and even the Giants. So, the Raiders are not one of those 4 terrible teams, so give me the Raiders plus the 1, and then on the money line as well. And then last but not least, Sunday Night Football. You have the football team and the Cowboys on NBC. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and probably Michelle Tafoya. I project Dallas 16, total 47-4. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 and 47. Again, the Cowboys are being undersold in the market against a weak division opponent for the 3rd week in a row. I love Dallas here, and I mean love them in this spot. So that does it for the NFL picks for today. All right, now we'll do news and notes. So the Pro Bowl rosters came out for the NFL. So NFC selections. Kyler Murray, James Conner, Chandler Jones, Butta Baker, Kyle Pitts, Josh Harris, Brian Burns, Jakeem Grant Sr., Robert Quinn, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Brian Anger, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Kenny Clark, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, Matt Gay, Alvin Kamara, Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, JT Gray, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Harrison Smith, Jason Kelce, Darius Slay, Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Bobby Wagner, Keandre Diggs, Tom Brady, Tristan Wirfs, Ryan Jensen, Ali Marpet, Shaq Barrett, Brandon Scherf, Jonathan Allen, and then the AFC, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Ricard, Mark Andrews, Justin Tucker, Devin Duvernay, Stephon Diggs, Deion Dawkins, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson, Joel Bitonio, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Wyatt Teller, Denzel Ward, Jonathan Taylor, Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson, DeForest Buckner, Darius Leonard, Kenny Moore, Luke Rhodes, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Orlando Brown, Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu, AJ Cole, Max Crosby, Denzel Perryman, Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Rashawn Slater, Corey Linsley, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Xavier Howard, Matt Judon, J.C. Jackson, Matthew Slater, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, and Kevin Byard. Some players that I thought were snubbed, it just kind of dawned on me. I think Joe Burrow was snubbed. I think that's a huge snub. I mean, his maturation and improvement of play is the reason why the Bengals are where they are, other than the protection and some of the roster upgrades they made. So I think Joe Burrow was my biggest AFC snub. And then in terms of the NFC and snubs, I really think that the player that was snubbed the most in the NFC, I mean, let's see if they put him in even though he's injured. No. But I thought Hopkins was a snub. And then because of the injury, they didn't put in T.J. Hawkinson. I felt that he had a good season on a lousy Lions team. But there's a couple that stand out to me as players that should have been on rosters even though they were injured. But yeah, to me the biggest snub overall has to be Joe Burrow. No question. And I'm trying to think of anybody else that you could have talked me into. I mean, people are going to mock me for this one because the team is 7-7 and I think he gets too much criticism. But Kirk Cousins has had a phenomenal year. The reason why the Vikings record is what it is because of their defense and special teams, not because of Kirk Cousins. So I think that Kirk Cousins, you could argue, was a possible snub as well. Alex Caruso out for a week, at least, with a foot sprain. Derrick Rose out 8 weeks, undergoing right ankle surgery. That's bad news for the Knicks. We talked about Elijah Mitchell not playing tonight. We talked about Luka and COVID protocols. Chris Godwin can still secure his payday as Godwin is well positioned to land a big contract despite the ACL tear. And then old names recircling in head coaching searches, Jim Caldwell and Doug Peterson. Yikes. I mean, if I picked one of them, it'd be Jim Caldwell because I think he did a better job at the Lions than given credit for. And the reason why people don't like Jim Caldwell is because he's looked upon as a Peyton Manning project or a product. But Doug Peterson that's just one dream season that the Eagles had. I don't think we'll get another opportunity, but I could see it for Jim Caldwell. All right, nice or naughty time. The last of the four, the NBA. I'm going to go division by division and pick nice or naughty for every team. All right, we'll start the Atlantic Division, and we'll start with the Boston Celtics. Naughty list. I think that they've just been underachievers, and I think they made a mistake with the Brad Stevens situation. The Brooklyn Nets, the naughty list. They've underachieved under the Kevin Durant era so far. I mean, injuries, I get it, and such, but they have not won a championship, or let alone made the conference finals with Kevin Durant yet. But maybe if Kevin Durant's foot wasn't on the line, then we're talking about the nice list for the Brooklyn Nets. The New York Knicks, I'm going to put them on the nice list for the sole reason being that they ended their long playoff drought last season. And Tom Thibodeau really got them to overachieve. And now you wonder if last year they caught lightning in the bottle and they took advantage of COVID. So we'll see about that. But I put the Knicks on the nice list solely because they overachieved last year. Because the 2020-21 season factors into nice or naughty too, because part of that season was in 2021, you know. The Philadelphia 76ers, the naughty list. The Ben Simmons saga is still going on. He still has yet to be traded. And they've just have underachieved in this era. And the Toronto Raptors, I'm going to put them on the nice list. Yeah, they lost Kyle Lowry, but they got Precious Achiuwa back in that trade. They still have a lot of blue chip type of players. Scotty Barnes has been an absolute rock star for them. So I'm going to put the Raptors on the nice list. All right, the Southeast Division, the Atlanta Hawks. I'm going to put them on the nice list because Trae Young has absolutely emerged into a super duper star. Yeah, they've underachieved so far this year, but they deserve props for their run to the conference finals. The Charlotte Hornets, the naughty list. That's because I feel like they should have done a better job this offseason building around LaMelo. Next up, the Miami Heat. This is a hard one, but I'm going to put them on the naughty list because, to me, this team, I just think is one piece short but I don't know who that piece is. You could argue they overpaid for Kyle Lowry. Their guys are always injured, too. Orlando, the naughty list, they're just a mess. And then the Washington Wizards, this is another one. This is probably the most difficult one in this division. But I'm going to go with the naughty list because they got to that good start but fell apart. And now you're going to start hearing the trade Bradley Beal talks, even though they have a lot of depth on their team. But they so yeah. We'll see with the Bradley Beal thing. And in the Central Division, the Bulls. I'm gonna put them on the nice list. Yeah, they made that trade for Vucevic, and they had to give up an extra lottery pick because of it. But they're making up for it so far this season by their success. The Cleveland Cavaliers, absolutely the nice list. Despite losing Colin Sexton, they really have built themselves a foundation with Darius Garland and Evan Mobley leading the way here. The Detroit Pistons, the naughty list, their only fun piece to watch was Cade Cunningham. Jeremy Grant's going to be traded probably. But they got to get something good for Jeremy Grant. Next up, the Indiana Pacers, the naughty list. We've been telling them to break up the front court of Domantas Sabonis and Miles Turner for years now. They haven't done that. And the Milwaukee Bucks, they're on the nice list because they won the championship this past season. All right, the Western Conference. We'll start with the Southwest Division and the Dallas Mavericks, the naughty list. Luka Doncic showed up out of shape. And Kristaps Porzingis is not the player they think he is, so they're automatically on the naughty list. Next up, the Houston Rockets, the naughty list. Don't forget, they traded James Harden this calendar year. That alone makes the naughty list because they did not get enough back for him, in my opinion. So, therefore, they belong on the naughty list. The Memphis Grizzlies, this is a tough one. Probably the toughest one, honestly, if you're asking me. And I am going to say that they go on the nice list because they made the playoffs this past season. They beat Golden State in the play-in game, and Ja Morant is an absolute star. New Orleans Pelicans, this is easy, the naughty list. Zion hasn't literally played all year. All 2021. All the season, all calendar year. David Griffin's just done an awful job with this roster, and you could argue that he might have just been lucky because LeBron went back there. Next up is the San Antonio Spurs. And for me, they're on the naughty list. They just really have just been silent and they're just boring, you know? But they got to do something to kind of shake things up here. Now we'll go to the Northwest Division. First up, the Denver Nuggets. This is a hard one, but I'm going to say the nice list because Nikola Jokic has single-handedly carried them with these injuries to Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. So I'm going to put Denver on the nice list. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm going to put them on the nice list. And this is because of Anthony Edwards' emergence into a star. He's just been amazing this year. A nice duo of him and Karl Anthony Towns they got going. Oklahoma City Thunder, the naughty list. They really just are not good. I don't like their coach. And, like, what's the plan with all these draft picks? Still tank and trade SGA or trade them for somebody to go with SGA? The Portland Trailblazers, this is easy, the naughty list. They really got to either shake things up or blow it up at this point. They're well under 500, and Damian Lillard's going to demand a trade sooner rather than later. And then the Utah Jazz, the naughty list. And this is despite their success for blowing that series against the Clippers, and the Clippers didn't have Kawhi Leonard. So that alone makes me put the Utah Jazz on the naughty list. And last but not least, the Pacific Division. The Golden State Warriors, I'm going to put them on the nice list. They've really rebounded nicely since the play-in tournament, 2 losses. And they're going to get Klay Thompson at some point back next year. Or next calendar year, I should say. This season, but next calendar year. So things are looking up for Golden State. Good bounce-back season for them. Especially Draymond Green on defense. He's almost back to what he was. Next up, the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm going to put them on the naughty list. Actually, no, it's changing my mind. The nice list. Paul George has really kept them afloat since Kawhi went down. And then the Lakers are on the naughty list. I had the wrong LA team in mind. For sure. The Lakers are just really like the Western Conference's version of either the Celtics or the Knicks, the more you think about it, because the big market, the underachieving big market team, and like making them, and they're getting more attention, the media a little bit, and they've been easily the most disappointing team in the league, the Lakers, so therefore they're on the naughty list, despite the injuries and COVID stuff. And then last but not least, or 2 more, the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to put them on the nice list because they had the finals run last year and they're among the best teams in the league still. And then the Sacramento Kings are on the naughty list because they're just so dysfunctional year in and year out. And they fired the coach already. All right, now I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to make my picks for the top 10 songs of 2021 on iHeartradio's Top 100 Songs for Z100, 100.3 W. I think it's WHTZ. Yeah, WHTZ, I was right. So, my top 10 song picks. All right. My pick for song number 10. I'm going to go with Without You by the Kid Laroi. Number 9, I'm going to go with POV by Ariana Grande. Number 8, I'm going to go with Bad Habits by Ed Sheeran. 7, I'm going to go with Montero by Lil Nas X. 6, I'm going to go with Stay by Justin Bieber and the Kid Laroi. 5, I'm going to go with Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. 4, I'm going to go with Kiss Me More by Doja Cat. 3, I'm going to go with Positions by Ariana Grande. 2, Deja Vu, Olivia Rodrigo. And number 1, my pick for the number 1 song of 2021, Levitating by Dua Lipa. is my prediction for number 1. I'm going to do my own personal top 10 of the year later on next week, but this is my prediction for the top 100 songs of 2021 on iHeartRadio's countdown for Z100 here in the New York metropolitan area. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I have a pick in mind, and that pick is the one of the bowl games. Which is the one with Central Florida and Florida. I'm taking Central Florida plus the 7. And I'm going to lay 1 unit on it against Florida. And now I'm going to do Fab 5. For the weekend. All right, so first up, I'm going to lay the 7.5 with Green Bay against the Browns on Christmas. Next up, I'm going to lay 6 with Atlanta against Detroit. I'm going to lay 2 with the Patriots against the Bills. I'm going to take Las Vegas plus the 1 against Denver. And then the last one, I'm going to ride with my baby from the last couple weeks. I'm going to take Dallas minus the 10.5 at home against the Washington professional football team. And then the money line pick of the week in the NFL for an underdog. I am going to actually go with the ballsy pick here. And I'm either going to go with the ballsy pick and save it for Monday, or I'll parlay 2. But you know what? Because it's the last day of the week for the podcast, I might as well go with the Titans tonight as my underdog pick of the week. The plus 142 against the 49ers as my money line pick of the week. All right, so there you have it for today's show. I'll be back on Monday recapping everything from the Christmas weekend and looking ahead to everything on Monday. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody.